All right, and we are live. And yes, you read the title right. It is Carnal's birthday, and
Oh,
we're
happy birthday.
Happy
yep.
birthday.
I was actually hoping to have a different guest on, but she never got back to me. So to hell with that. Oh my goodness! And that was supposed to be a pretty spicy stream about the shenanigans involving Proud Boys and Kyle Chapman and all that wonderful jazz, and just general shenanigans surrounding that debacle. But since I can't have her on, and because it's my birthday, I decided to share it with some of my nearest and dearest on the Discord. How are y'all doing?
All right. All right.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Now, mandatory, you had a couple things you wanted to talk about since
Um,
since we're all here.
okay, there was one I thought maybe we should wait until somebody else could join us. Um,
Yes.
what was the other
Um,
one?
the other one was, I think, was you wanted to take me to task on nap.
Oh, yes.
And thank you, Roy. As you know, there's a 10-second delay on this shit, so I know you're getting that late. But thank you, Roy, for the shout out. As always, if you want to jump on the stream, links are uh, links are in the Discord. So back to the now. For those of you who don't know, I'm Italian. Debating is what I did my entire life growing up. So if this turns into like a knockdown brawl between like debate topics for my birthday stream, that is completely okay.
Nice.
Like I shit you not, I grew up with w- basically it was my mother's side of the family who like her grandparents chose to like keep in contact because my dad's side for some odd reason didn't. Uh, yes, it was an argument over religion, but that's another time. So I was raised with my grandfather, who was a lifelong Democrat. Like we're talking, he helped organize the unions on the docks. He was a big fan of the ACLU before they cucked on free speech. He died before they cucked on free speech, thank God. But anyways, and he was an agnostic, so we would talk and debate and argue over everything. And the only reason that I was like kind of the favorite is because I was the only one of his grandchildren who could keep up with it. Uh, so again, full disclosure, debating is a fantastic birthday gift to Carnal. And Roy's in chat's going, gotcha, just updating the game log right now. Then I might, we shall see. Excellent. I would be glad to have you on. And disavowed, we are both Dagos and Mormons. Disavowed, I invited you on, man. I invited you on. You know you should fucking be here right now. I'm not taking your shit, disavowed. Get your ass up here, Bebo. Anyways, so mandatory.
Yeah.
Bring it on. I'm
Okay.
down. I am down.
I don't like libertarians. I don't trust libertarians, and it all comes down to the NAP, right?
All right.
Here's my continuing problem with non aggression policy for those of you tuning in late. Um, what happens if, for whatever reason, we become a libertarian society and I just decide I don't want to live by the NAP and do what I want to anyways?
Well, you know what that's called, right?
Fine.
It's
Yeah,
called
it's called a crime.
libertinism. No, it has a name. It's called libertinism, and it is the de facto philosophy of the Marquis de Sade, who invented sadism. Like you have to understand the libertines
Okay,
far um were so far pro quote unquote liberty that they completely threw away any non-aggression principle pretense. Like
okay, let's
their whole shtick was, I if I have the means and the power to do so, I have the right to subjugate you.
okay, let's come
And
back to reality here a little more practical. Um, I decide I don't like the rules at all, and I'm going to
okay,
do whatever I want. And a really solid example. You want, say, 100 Pecor jackhammers, and I tell you, oh, I can get you those, right? Now, for 1,000 caps, right? Each,
okay.
obviously. You bring me the
I'm loving the Fallout references, by the way.
not by accident. Um, you bring me the 100,000 caps, and I bring you the jackhammers, and we both go our separate ways. We're happy, right?
Okay,
Okay. Take the gun out, and you test it, and it literally blows up right there in your hands.
okay.
Now what?
Well,
Oh, but it's going to get better.
okay. Continue. Go on with the scenario.
Okay.
I'm listening.
What are you going to do about it? No, really.
Okay,
What are you going to do?
okay. Hang on. I just I need to clarify this for the audience, and I need to clarify this with you. How is this different from my position on the nap?
Right. The non aggression policy says that if I don't do something aggressive to you, you won't do anything aggressive to me, and we'll all get along, and the world will be so much more wonderful and beautiful, right?
Yeah, hang on. I need to stop you right there because I think we have some a slight confusion. Um, what do you think my position on the NAP is?
Oh, um, that it's a fantasy.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, are you on the same page, or are we just splitting?
You're about 2 chapters behind me.
All right.
Okay.
Um, so you're gonna double down that the NAP is crap.
Oh, yeah, it worse.
Oh, okay. So I don't think I have any arguments. I'm all I
Hold
can
on.
say is all I can say is I
Hold
agree.
on to your chair for a second. Okay.
No, you have to understand my dilemma. You said you were going to take me to task, and here I am agreeing
Uh,
with you. This is very anticlimactic, sir.
oh, hold on to your chair for a second.
No,
Okay.
what the fuck is this bullshit? You
The
promised me a
NAP.
brawl.
Are you done interrupting?
Yes, go on.
Are you sure?
Yes,
Are you certain? Because I'd love to not finish this sentence too.
go on, go on. I'm done.
Okay. The entire NAP is based on what you inside your head are going to do or not do, right?
Correct.
What's another word for that?
Um, go
Starts
ahead,
with
tell me.
it starts with R, the
Oh,
religion.
well, I mean, if you want to call it religion or conscience or, your own internal
No,
compass.
it's a religion. It's a
Oh,
true religion. Gets better.
okay.
Um,
All right.
it's a religion that they're forcing you to abide by, which is what?
Faith.
An aggression, right?
Okay.
And there's nothing you can do about it if somebody decides they want to be anti religious. It's a complete breakdown in the system. Hold on, because you think you know where I am and you're lost. What happens next? Game this out. What happens next?
You've already lost me with the NAP being a religion. I'm just waiting to slide down this rabbit hole to see what the fuck I'm dealing with at the end.
I promise it's not a landmine at the bottom of the hole.
I
Okay,
don't
so
believe you.
somebody
He promises.
He promises, but please do continue. You have my attention.
sooner or later somebody's going to say, "Screw this! I'm not going to be following this religion anymore. I'm going to make myself the head man." Right? What
Yep.
happens when somebody with that kind of mentality finally comes to power?
Did you not stick around for the whole video? I said that is exactly what I laid out.
I,
I'm like,
I know. Hold on.
okay,
When gang wars finally end, what happens to the losing gangs?
uh, they get
They
taken.
typically enslave the losers
Uh-huh.
that survive. It's a system built to create slavery.
Oh, so you mean the NAP is no better than communism?
Worse than
Practically.
communism, but
Hang
yeah,
on
okay.
now. Hang on. The
Yeah, that's what
feudal
I
lords
said.
did nothing wrong compared to Mao and Stalin, I will have you know.
I didn't say communism is good. I just said it's worse. That that um NAP is worse. Libertarian is worse. It's meant to restore slavery.
Well, yes, in the end, that is the end. Like, if you follow it to its logical conclusion, that is, of course, where the NAP will land, and then some, lolbertard will say, "But that would be aggression." Well, what the fuck are you gonna do about it, cunt? I mean, seriously, what are you gonna do? Aggress on the slave property of the warlord? No, you're not gonna do that. So again, it's about the practical application of the lowest common denominator when it comes to the NAP.
Okay,
So now
now we're
I
just
might
agreeing loudly.
I might have to disagree with the notion that it's worse than communism, though. Like, you lost me there.
At least with communism, there does come eventually a stop point. But yeah, no, that's so minor.
Eh. Well, I mean, I'm not sure that historically that's true. I think the how would you say? I think that the feudal system had a lesser death toll than the Black Plague. I'm pretty certain that communism has a higher death toll than the Black Plague. So I think I would chance warlords than I would chance communism.
Hmm, that's a point.
Because think about it honestly. At least with warlords, there's a higher chance of a nuclear family structure existing at the top, and somewhat chilling down people down the ranks. They do have to maintain some kind of, like, how would you say, like, a moral facade with those that they rule under. They're Yeah, I would rather chance warlords than communism. So that's where I'm at with that. So welcome, Spicy P. You joined in the middle of that wonderful tirade.
Weird.
What's up?
Yes. Also, thank you for the birthday shout out, KK. I'm glad you didn't add a third one in there, else that would have been really awkward. Welcome, Jovi. Thank you for jumping on. As I said before, the links to the stream is in the Discord chat. So if you just mosey on over there, you can find that link and jump on if you like. I know Jovi wanted to fight me on something. I forgot what it was. Even he can come on and tell me about it when he wants to indulge me. So, Spicy P, how are things on your end?
Oh, doing good. Just looking up some information and updating the game log.
Excellent. Well, hey, mandatory. Is this
Huh.
not who we were waiting for?
Yes, I believe so.
All right, let's get into it. I mean, you wanted to discuss this topic. We have all parties here. Militias are the topic at hand, ladies and gentlemen. We just covered the NAP in brief, and so now we're going to talk about a facet of the NAP, or a facet of constitutionalism. Let's talk militias. Tickle my fancy.
Okay, well, I'm going to lead off because this was my idea. The idea is that once a month, everybody would have to report for 2 6-hour training sessions, not necessarily on the weekend, for one of 4 subjects in rotation and in a specified rotation: first aid, CPR, fire prevention and response, firearm safety and familiarization, and then a locally determined emergency type. Like, Carnal, I know you live in Texas, so hurricanes might be a thing you have to deal with. Where,
Yeah, I'm on the northern end. Like you couldn't convince me to live on the coast. Fuck that shit.
okay, fair enough. But I know you used to live in LA, and that's a earthquake prone zone.
Yeah, I'm
So
actually
when you
hoping that the earthquakes get strong enough that it breaks California off.
so when you were in LA, you would have to train for earthquake related emergencies or fire related emergencies because that's a thing again.
Mm-hmm.
Versus Dallas, I think it is. You would have to prepare for uh, hurricanes or flood related emergencies.
Okay.
So your fourth weekend in rotation, that would be your training. Me, I actually have a fire danger here, so they might just double down on my fire training.
Okay. So your suggestion is uh shall we say compulsory compulsory service for emergency training?
Kind of, yes.
Okay.
So, so funny story actually. What you just laid out is pretty much what the National Guard does.
Um, this would be way, way below their level of preparedness, their
Yeah,
level of training.
the only difference between uh, militia and the National Guard is going to be that the National Guard gets state funding. So not only are they going to get the disaster relief training, so give you an example here in Kansas, there's not much for disasters. So what the unit I was with, we ended up getting tasked with riot control. Well, a lot of those guys don't have riot control experience unless they're cops as a civilian. I was a military policeman when I was active duty, and the National Guard unit was actually an artillery unit. So riot control is really fun. But when it
Oh,
comes
I
to
would I would join that class. Like that sounds like a good time.
oh, it's very fun. It's a lot. It's depending on the dispersion of the shield wall, which you can do like the Romans. You can have your one primary shield wall and then a series of walls behind it. But the way it goes,
That's what the
especially
that's what the
yes,
South Koreans do.
yeah. But I
Yeah.
think the South Koreans use the plexiglass round shields, or it's the Japanese that do that one. I can't remember what the Rock does though.
Hmm.
The South Korean army is called the Rock Republic of Korea, but so National Guard, well, riot control period, you'll have your, especially since it's street to street, you will have one single line of shield guys with a shield, and their job is just to hold the shield. And then in between each one of those guys is going to be what's called a baton man, and the dude has a baton, and he's hitting anybody that's trying to take the shield. Shield wall is
So
meant to, yes,
so it's basically a domestic phalanx.
yes, it
Yeah.
is a domestic phalanx. The idea is to funnel the mostly peaceful protesters into an area to get ambushed by other waiting police officers. Usually it's to an intersection that could be anything from a four-way intersection. The best one to use is actually a three-way intersection. That way the police can come in from two sides while the shield wall just maintains. But right behind the baton guys, you'll have, depending on how long the line is, if it's just like let's go with a 3-lane street with about 7-foot sidewalks, you're going to have 5 to 6 guys that are actually monitoring, checking for any shields that are being taken, and they'll carry anything from a non-lethal. They'll carry a shotgun with non-lethal rounds, or the Titman 98 paintball gun with pepper rounds with the pepper balls in them, and they'll unload
Those
on them. Yes,
those suck.
yeah, they do. They hurt like hell, and they leave little plastic shards in your skin.
Oh, so okay. I'm
But
gonna. I
but
just have
further
go on.
breakdown of state militia, state national guard is in California. They're going to focus. They focus on um, taking care of the civilian population in a disaster area, running evacuations, uh, all along the Gulf Coast and going up the East Coast is going to be uh, floods, civilian evacuation, disaster relief, meaning getting supplies out to people, getting basic infrastructure back up and running, like power. Uh, Cell phones, yes and no. The problem with cell phones is cell towers are private property held by the company. So the National Guardsmen have been known to go out and pull security or do disaster relief at cell phone towers in order to get those nodes up and running. Through the Midwest, it's going to be disaster relief for tornadoes, learning how certain kinds of structures may or may not collapse, and riot control, maybe some firefighting stuff. It also depends on the MOS. MOS standing for um, their primary, what they were taught primarily leading off. Joining the National Guard, my primary MOS was field artillery. Secondary MOS would be military policemen. Uh, California, Nevada, Utah are also different. Utah and Nevada, you don't really have much for disasters other than Utah had forest fires back in the 2000s that got pretty bad. And California is going to be earthquakes and whatnot. National Guard up in Oregon and Washington is going to take care of people that are getting lost out in the woods. They'll do like police lines and they'll look for people that are lost or people that have been lost a while and died, and they can
Okay,
figure out what
I
to
just
do.
have I just have one question for mandatory. So you have
Mm,
this idea for militias that you want instated. So what is the purpose? Like, what is the goal for these
okay. Um.
for this compulsory militias
Yeah.
service?
The most basic possible first response service. Um. I Colonel, I think I told you that I knew some of the people that died in the car fire or the campfire, right? Paradise,
Yes.
California. Um.
Actually, no, I don't think we spoke about that, or maybe I'm just forgetting.
Okay.
But do
Um.
enlighten me.
Last year, a little town in California by the name of Paradise, which is uh about 30 minutes northeast of Chico, California. There was this tiny little fire on a backcountry road, Camp Road, and because there was a very strong wind event that day and the day before, it swept down through town and just wiped it out. 89 Officially, 89 people died.
Oh,
Yeah. A lot of them died in the evacuations. They died on the road trying to get out of town because the smoke overwhelmed them, and they're they passed out in their car, and then they burned to death. Why
yikes.
are we focusing on this evacuation of a couple hundred people, couple thousand people, excuse me, when we could turn those who could have fought the fire around to hold that line at least long enough for everybody else to escape?
Well, I believe the short answer to that is lack of training.
Oh, wow. Yes. And curious little detail of the law is sheriffs can raise a militia within their counties. Um, chiefs of police and fire chiefs do it from time to time anyway, but legally only the sheriff can do it, and they have that authority all the time. They just won't
Huh.
use the M word because of, for those of us who are a little bit older, that connotation with the 90s.
I see.
Oh, I'm a foreigner and I kind of know what you're talking about.
Yeah, does it start with the W and end with an ACO?
Yep.
Yeah, that.
So, okay, so now when you brought up militias, immediately my mind was going to like the Starship Troopers, a service guarantee citizenship kind of deal.
That would be amazing.
It would be
Yeah,
amazing.
actually,
So,
after talking to Papa Kerry about this subject quite a bit, he
okay,
brought up the objection. Well, what if somebody just doesn't want to? Well, okay, what are you going to do about it, right?
yeah,
And at the end, I thought the only thing you could practically do is somebody who just refuses or is mentally incapable of militia duty loses their franchise.
yeah,
Literally, service equals citizenship.
citizenship.
Yeah.
At the
I have no
same
problem
time,
with this.
a system like that would not work. Well, it can work for a country. So the big roadblock to that would be literally the Constitution as it stands right now.
Yep,
Yeah. Actually,
that would that pesky Constitution sometimes, eh?
there's not
Uh,
actually anything in there that says they can't do that. There's just nothing in there that says they can.
well, the issue is that
I think that the 19th Amendment takes that away, like as well as
Oh,
like
hold up.
17th and 19th. I'm probably mixing those numbers up.
I might be behind the curve there.
But yeah, no, there are amendments in the Constitution that say basically every free man who's not, a felon or convict can should have the franchise. Like it's broadly given because it used to be, just people who owned land, people who had an investment in the community, but that was constitutionally changed. So that would be unconstitutional, literally.
yeah.
Spicy, you got any thoughts of where it might be written?
So it's not going to be. It's actually written all throughout. So the in order to be able to run a system like this, it would have to be okayed by the government. But as long as the people do not agree with it, it is not something that the government can pull off. Example: stripping rights away from citizens. If this was something that were to happen, let's say tomorrow, like they're trying to work on this, passing this bill tonight, there's going to be a lot of American citizens that would be exceedingly pissed that they can no longer vote, that they no longer have a
Rage
first,
more.
second. Yeah, all those, all the whole Bill of Rights will be thrown out the window when it comes to people that have not um, put in their service. But someone like me, I'm a vet, I would still be able to keep that. But at the same time, and I had a conversation with somebody about this a while back too. I can understand how the average citizen would be exceedingly pissed about all of a sudden waking up and being nothing. So, in order to get around that, I would have to say that you almost have to bring it back to the Magna Carta and even the Bill of Rights, where the only things that it would affect is if you join the military and get out honorable discharge or medical discharge from injury sustained during service, you would have the ability to um, run for political office. You would have the ability to, let's say, uh, not so much start a family because that's really fucked up. That's really fucked up.
Oh my
I
God.
I
No,
didn't say anything about running for office. Ironically enough, you could run for office and not be allowed to vote.
But at the same time, you were to
Doesn't make a lot
implement
of sense, but
if you were to
That would be
implement
weird.
something if you were to implement something like this, in order to be in America, in order even with the Starship Troopers mentality, in order to be able to vote, you would have to first be a citizen.
yes.
You would have to join the military. Well, under that idea, and I if have you guys read the book or watched the movie or
I
both?
read the book.
I read the book as well.
I have not actually read the book. I
All
am the
right.
Shame
pleb
on
here.
you.
I know. I tried, but it's on my phone, and I just haven't had the time to go through it.
Dirty little secret
I'm
for you
working
then.
through it.
Dirty little secret on YouTube, type in Starship Troopers, a 9 hour audio book will pop up. It is fucking amazing.
Okay, awesome.
And
Nine hours?
I will indulge.
yep, and it goes very in depth. But and the book is nothing like the freaking movie, even though the movie was pretty damn good. Um,
Yes, I
Just a
so
gathered
hot
that
load
much.
of wet dog shit.
yeah, well,
Not a
uh,
fan.
I'm pretty sure Warhammer 40K got the idea for the Tyranids from the Starship Troopers movie.
Okay.
Well,
Yep.
there's a whole lawsuit between I think Starship Troopers, Warhammer, and I think it was StarCraft.
That's just silly. How are you gonna? Okay, we'll back off from that silliness. Legality,
Good
but
evening.
hey, what's up?
Now
Hello.
now is this KK or is this Jovi?
This is Jovi.
Hey Jovi, how's it going, man?
Evening, gentlemen, and happy birthday to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I'm at the right middle age.
Ooh, I just thought of an idea.
Well, we're fine. Men's biological clock ticks like what, 60? So
Pretty
we're
much.
we're fine.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, can I chime in on that, by the way?
Go
Oh,
for
sure.
it.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm hearing a little bit about the Constitution, but then I'm also hearing about, the 19th Amendment. What we have to realize is when you vote today, like how do you guys feel about voting is the question. Like what do you think voting does, if you don't mind me asking?
Theoretically or realistic? That's a fair question.
Theoretically first. Theoretically first.
Well,
I put my
theoretically,
two
it's supposed to be. I'm sorry. Go ahead, mandatory.
I put my 2 cents towards what direction the society is going to go through my representatives, and my 2 cents might not be enough by itself to meet what the other philosophies uh, uh, think.
Okay.
Yeah, my impression of the
Now,
vote is that it's largely a moral and societal how do you want to say?
Compass.
Yes, it's more of a compass, not a direct edict, so to speak.
And so is that your theoretical sense of it, or realistically?
No, that is reality. Like when you cast a vote, it's more like political capital rather than the actual power itself.
Okay. So my next question is, can you vote for freedom?
Huh?
Ooh, at this point in time, no, you can't.
No,
Do
no,
we
and
ever vote for freedom?
No.
no,
There's only one way to do that, and that's with violence.
yes,
Or walk away from everything
Who said
and live
that?
on an island in the Pacific.
no. I think that was Spicy P, but yeah, he's absolutely
Yep.
right, and I've said this on many a stream. It is always preferable to be the murderer than the slave.
Yes. So do you think that if anyone believes that you can vote today or even yesterday, when Trump says, let's make America great again, at the time, even at that time, the idea of voting for freedom is not really voting for freedom. You're voting for luxury, comfortability, a distraction, if even to distract us from what exactly? I believe that we're meant to vote to distract us from who's the ones in power that, pull all the levers and click all the buttons. And if you want to talk about the Constitution, when I think of patriots, this is what I think. I think a man is a patriot if he doesn't pay taxes, he doesn't vote, and doesn't involve himself with his government, especially if it's a tyrannical government, which we're dealing with right now, as you can see.
At this point, I
Huh?
would have to
Not to
say
say
for
that all
me,
government is tyranny.
I would have to say at this point for me,
Sorry.
when I vote, it is only to slow the subjugation of American people into the rest of the world. There's no worth a damn side to pick anymore.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, I keep
I'm
hearing
sorry, the
that
U.S. is
Trump
far from
is
a
this.
tyrannical.
Yeah.
This is a long ways from a tyranny. If my partner were in here, she'd be cussing you out right now. She survived the Taliban for four or 5 years before she was sold into slavery. Sh- That was a tyranny. That was an actual tyranny.
well,
I mean, there are
I
children being
understand what
sold into sexual slavery right now in America through Hollywood.
Yeah,
yes, but
that doesn't mean
no,
it's
that
policy.
no,
You go to
Sorry, I didn't
there's a
prison
cut you
for
off.
it once they
significant
figure it out.
no. I'm sorry. I can't I cannot
Well,
equate something that's done in darkness compared to other cultures where it's done in broad daylight. That's that's not a fair comparison. That's like saying that America
oh, oh,
condones the
we're doing this in broad.
really?
We
Really?
do this in broad daylight when you watch Netflix and you have a bunch of 11-year-olds twerking inside of a film, and then you realize that 2,400 little 11-year-old girls were actually auditioned for that film.
No,
This
no.
Okay,
is the
Hang
so
on.
idea
the
of them
No, no,
doing it in
no.
governor
broad
of
daylight, and
California
Let's
you
say
have,
sold people into slavery, rounded them up and
dude,
shipped them off
when
to
you
Texas or wherever.
well, no.
no,
Let's
I'm
take
saying
that
we're doing it
let
through Hollywood itself. Like we're embracing
Okay.
the ideas
well,
of
hang on. Even with that
of
example,
sexualizing children and
even with that
human
example, Drake.
trafficking.
The problem with that example is what of course it has to be done in darkness because when they brought it to light, what the fuck happened?
People
What
got
happened?
angry.
Jews
Yeah,
went into hiding.
yeah.
There's
They
people
I
people did get angry. That is true. But Kevin Spacey didn't go into hiding. Asia Argento didn't go into hiding. You know, these are people who were accused of pedophilia, and they didn't go
Kevin
into hiding.
Spacey did
Yeah,
actually
sure,
go
maybe
into
they got
hiding.
fired, I guess.
That's why he came out as gay, to buy himself some time before people got pissy.
It's okay. I'm a pedophile. I'm gay.
Well,
No,
welcome
that
to
actually
America, where
happened.
you can say you're gay to get away with pedophilia. Welcome to
Well,
America, where you can say you're
it
gay
didn't
to get away with
exactly
pedophilia.
work.
And to be honest,
Yeah.
I mean that honestly
well,
didn't work. No
why
one
are we
bought
not
the lie.
addressing? Well, do you know that the I don't even like to call them this. I call them the alphabet crew,
Fucking hell,
but the
this failed.
LGBT, QRST, VWX, Y, and Z. Yeah, so
Uh huh.
that community is not really a community, except for it does keep quiet about how many children are being groomed within that community itself. Like even
Oh
the
no, and
so-called right-wing gays are very quiet about it. Like it's kind of
yeah, there
disturbing, actually.
is. I was actually I was homeless in Hollywood for 3 months, and one of the places that
Well,
I stayed
I'm
at
sorry to
was
hear
the
that.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a while back. This was back in like 2011, around the Occupy LA time frame. And as I stayed
Got
at
it.
the LGBT shelters, and I was, very close to that lifestyle. Like if you're LGBT, or you're questioning, or you want to get away from like your overly Christian parents or whatnot, there is a pipeline all across the nation where they will intentionally ship children to LA to quote unquote take care of them. And almost invariably, when they come out as trans, or they come out as gay, or whatever alphabet designation that they're given, or that they identify with, almost invariably they are part of their quote unquote journey is prostitution on the streets of the boulevard. And
Yeah,
it,
Wow.
and
that
they're
happens.
no it, it not only does it happen, it is an expected integral part of that culture. It is an integral part of that social paradigm. And I'm sitting here going, my God, if my child came out as gay and I lived in Kansas, I think the closet would be the safest place for them at this point. Good Lord.
Yeah. Um, the way I see it is, the reason why this is very important to discuss, it's because uh, we believe that there are these three branches of government in which, control what is America. But in reality, the three branches are the military industrial complex, Hollywood, and the educational
For fuck's
system.
sake, whose phone is going off? I
And
just
that's
turned
what's
off the.
governing America right now. Yeah, I know. I'm like listening to the vibration right now. Um, but yeah, so these are the three branches that actually govern our nation, in the sense that we use Hollywood to really promote these ideas that should be accepted through policy, right? We do it through the military industrial complex because we believe that it's patriotic to go to another country and obliterate these people. And we're really helping these corporations, right? It's not really about patriotism, it's more about profit, but it's not for
Okay,
us. It's
so
we
hang on.
lose our lives
So
with
Well,
when
these
Donald
ideas.
Trump says
And the
something
hold on
like,
one sec. I just want to say, wait, wait. Let me just finish. The educational system, it gives us, it indoctrinates us to believe that we have to fight in a certain direction or move in a certain direction in order to be considered patriotic, nationalist, or even be anti-American. So all of this utilizes the voting machine, you know, or I like to call it the cog and the zog. But go on, I'm listening.
well, okay,
huh?
so if all of that is true, and if I was to take that at face value, how exactly? would something like Trump occur when he's giving speeches naming the military industrial complex, when he's actively going against those cultural forces that, the other name for it is called the cathedral? When he's openly going against these forces, when you say that voting for Donald Trump essentially amounts to nothing, um, I'm gonna have to hard disagree on that. I mean, I'm with Spicy when the fact is there is a significant movement against all of these things that you have just named, and I mean significant. I mean, if God forbid I ever became president, I would literally completely dismantle the Department of Education. So, I mean,
He, well, Donald Trump is the accelerationist president. You know, he's this idea of, if anything, a white America, right? That's why a lot of people voted for him in the beginning, believe it or not. People were tired of seeing a black man in the White House, because he didn't do anything to help us. So they see this white man who has a family and everything, and they see him as like, the great white hope. And many did vote for him that
oh
are
good lord.
pro-white or even white supremacist, right? No, no, this is
Right.
true.
Can I
Dude, I know
can
people that
I
have like
say
their clan flags with
Oh, hey,
their
Mum.
Trump flags because they saw
Wait,
this
is Mom
man
in
as the
here?
great white hope.
Yeah,
So,
she
anyways,
joined a while ago. Oz.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Well, where is she? I don't see her
so
icon.
so like I was
white and
so
that's
so
completely
yeah, like I
context.
was
Yeah,
hello?
I don't
Huh?
get that
Whoa,
either.
what?
I think she
Hello.
said that that's
Why is
completely
it so hard to hear?
bombastic.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're having
so
trouble
let
hearing
me
you, Mom.
just
Hold on.
yeah, so so my thing is, right, that we can say that, Trump is this great president, but Trump is an idea, right? Trump is not the reality of what's going on right now. Like when we have a slogan that says "Make America Great Again," right? This is an idea of reformation, not restoration, not reformation. So when we're trying to reform the Republican Party to be
Okay,
more open to
correct.
homosexuality, which gives a gateway to pedophilia, right? So this is something that's not really mentioned by the so-called Gays for Trump,
Okay,
right? When we allow it to say that we're for free speech, right? But unfortunately, we want to tell these companies that, hey, you need to accept us on your platform. So the gay bake, the Christian baker doesn't want to cater to the gays, but yet these corporations have to cater to us, which is good, I guess, in a way. But at the same time, it's their company, it's their business. If Facebook doesn't want you on their platform or Twitter doesn't want you on their platform, then that's their decision. Well, I'm pretty sure Parler doesn't want to put Antifa on their platform, right? So there's really no such thing as free speech right now. We can say that there is, but there's really not. It's more about being comfortable. But Trump gives us this idea that he's fighting for the Constitution. So a man who had said famously, I could kill someone at Fifth Avenue and still be up in the polls, right? So he says this. But guess what? He's pushing for red flag laws. And I know a bunch of guys who have had the guns confiscated for what they posted on social media or even attending events, right? So, wow, what's going on during his administration? Oh no, this is the state that's doing that. No, no, no. This is a man appointed by him by the name of Tom Cullen, who sent white nationalists to jail because he thought they were too extreme on the internet. So we don't. Not only do we not have freedom, right? But here we have a president who complains about big tech on big tech, just like Matt Gaetz does, right? So this is my problem, is that we see this man as a beacon of light, a hope, freedom. He hugs the American flag while he spits on it. And I used to support him. I used to be an avid Trump supporter. Anybody can tell you. I used to go out there and really, root for the guy. But then when I saw that my friends were going to jail for free speech, that's ridiculous. When I saw that men who attended events to defend themselves were going to jail, that's insane. When I see Antifa allowed to knock people out, right? And not even deal with any type of like backlash or the president can say all he wants about Antifa, but nothing is done about Antifa, right?
Because it's on a
Driving
state
around the
level.
plaza, everyone's
It's
cheering him
on a
on.
state level.
Hold on. I'm almost done. So,
All right, I'm
he,
gonna give you
what's it
like 10
called?
seconds, Josie.
He's driving around the plaza. Sorry. So he's driving around the plaza. Everybody's running towards him, right, in DC. And then guess what? He goes and plays golf while his supporters are getting knocked out. He has not done anything to protect the supporters, not one thing. But go on. You can try to tell me that I'm wrong about that.
You can say that you can hold on to your ideas. That's your prerogative to do that. But a lot of the things that you're saying are completely inaccurate. It's at a state level, number one. I'll go backwards. It's at a state level, number one, that anything is done with Antifa or Black Lives Matter, any of the rioting or anything else. He gave an option, which also opened the doors and opened some people's eyes to the
Sorry,
level
I can't
of
hear you. Somebody's shooting
corruption.
like an air gun or something. What's going on with that? I can't
What
hear
the
you.
hell's going on back
Like
there?
somebody's
Who the
firing
fuck
off
is
something.
that?
That's not me.
That's not me either.
All right, who's having a shootout on my stream? Good Lord. All right, are we done with the pyrotechnics?
Anyway, it's what the hell was that?
I have no idea.
That's crazy. Hopefully what happened, which doesn't look like it had, but I think with the hopes that many of us had, was that when Trump put the weight back onto state government, it showed a level of corruption that had not been shown before. All of us on the West Coast are saying, what's going on? Why aren't the governors doing anything? Because it is in the all they had to say, and exactly what our president said, is just ask, just say the word, and we will have this over in 30 minutes. But none of them would do that. Why? Because they're all part of the deep state, the West Coast cabal, and everything else that's going on. Trump has done. He is not for
Those
white
are all
America.
Fox News
So,
talking points.
I don't care
I
whose
don't watch
talking
Fox
points
News.
they are.
I don't
The
watch.
question is, are they true?
I don't watch.
Give me a
Are they
minute.
still in business?
I don't understand what it is that
I've
you're
been telling
saying.
you guys to stop watching Fox News for about 2 years, but nobody listened. You guys
I
had to
don't watch.
wait
I don't
until
watch
like
Fox News. I don't
I don't
watch
watch
any
them either.
news.
I
I
don't
watch. Yeah,
have
I
Fox News
I
at
I
all.
don't watch any of that stuff. I think they're all full of shit, and they're all propaganda as far as I'm
well
concerned.
when you're saying
So I don't watch
when
any
you're
of that.
saying the
But I listen
cabal,
to
the
what my
deep state,
president says.
the cabal,
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah, those are probably statements that no one
Hey,
had talked
wait,
too
is he
much
still the
about
president?
before. I'm sorry.
What the hell?
No. Trust me,
Huh?
I've heard it all. Like I've been a part of the MAGA movement. I've heard all of that. I've heard about the deep state and the cabal, but it's just a shame how it's government versus people. Or here, let me put it like this: taxpayers versus tax collectors. And as
And that's
taxpayers, we're
exactly
going
what
against each other
President
because
Trump has
we
been
believe.
trying to do. And we would be in such a
By
more of
helping
a
these
disastrous
corporations.
place.
Wait, hang on.
Who's
What
helping
corporations has he given
corporations?
money to?
Yeah, what
That's
Like,
corporation?
that's what
yeah,
I'm saying. It's
seriously,
like you,
all of
what
no, hang on,
We're
corporations
being
are you
okay.
talking
all
about?
of these.
Okay.
Not only that, but he's brought corporations and businesses back to America that were
He
sold
gave a
off to
tax
every
break to
other
these corporations,
place.
did he not? Did he not give a
Yes,
tax
on the
break to these
condition that
corporations?
they.
Did he not give a
Well, he
tax
gave
Hopefully
a
break
he
tax
to these
break to
did give
everybody.
them
corporations?
because Americans needed to go to work, and that way they would not send business outside of the United States anymore.
Well, hang on. You can't be against him giving corporations tax breaks and say
But they
that a patriot
already
is someone who pays no taxes. No, he had them bring them
no.
Wow.
back.
I'm against
The
the
manufacturing
idea
plants
of
are like that's
no.
okay. I
Look,
understand. I
you can
understand what
say
you're
he does
talking about.
great
I
with
understand that you're
trade.
against. Yeah. I mean, look.
He has
Yeah,
done
you can say he
great
does
work
great with
for the
trade,
for,
right?
see while
Hang on.
he's done great with trade. He's done more than any
No,
other
no,
president has done in a really long time.
I'm
Not
saying
only,
he
I
can do
mean,
great
take
with
it down the
trade.
line.
That's
We can
fine and
go
all.
through.
No, well, no.
Okay,
When we say he's
But
doing
he's not a
great
absolutely.
with trade,
constitutional president. He's not a constitutional
What?
president. He doesn't care
What?
about the
He is
What?
Constitution.
upholding the Constitution more than any president has done in decades. And not only that,
With
it's also for the
the
people.
First Step
He's
Act,
done
red
an
flag
enormous
laws,
amount for
really?
Native Americans. For what red flag laws are you talking about?
yeah, I don't know any red
Red
flag laws
flag
that he's
laws.
passed.
I have
It
no
doesn't.
idea what you're even
We
Okay,
talking
know
during
about
what
during
they
when you're
Trump's
are.
trying to make it current.
administration,
What ones
during
passed?
during Tr- during Trump's administration, there are Americans having their guns confiscated for what they post on social media. Okay? There's
Okay.
Americans right now having their
What's
guns
Did
happening?
Trump pass
confiscated
those
for
laws?
the well, if he
Did
didn't pass
Trump
those
pass
Those are
those
laws,
not
how the
laws?
laws
hell
that
are people
he did
losing them?
not pass those laws. He
Why
did
is
not
it that
pass
you
those
guys want
laws.
to whenever Trump makes a mistake, you guys blame the state, right? But whenever he does something, whenever is going great, all of a sudden it's because of him. It's almost like the same thing with Obama. Like you guys just have to realize that this president is not going to help you gain freedom. I think in a sense he's necessary so we can realize that even an outsider is still rubbing shoulders with the so-called deep state. Instead of draining the swamp, he added more creatures to the swamp, okay? Through nepotism, if anything. And the thing that bothers me the most right now is how so many people see him as a nationalist, patriotic, but he's neither. He's a businessman. He took his turn at bat and he realized that he couldn't help the American people and he had to
You
capitulate
don't know
to
what you're
all
even
these
talking
other
about. You have
foreign
these.
entities.
And neither do we.
You have
I
a
worked.
very
Did
millennial
you ever work for
liberal
the
idea.
No. Stop using these buzzwords and just use your own ideas, okay? Don't call me a liberal because I'm more of a
That's
conservative
exactly what
than
I'm
most, okay?
saying.
I'm a very
No, because
like
I know
Well,
you
no.
have. You can
Here's the
still be a
thing.
liberal
okay.
conservative.
Wow.
No.
No,
Here's the
you
thing.
can't. You're either
You said that
you
X
could be a
happened under
libertarian, I
Trump,
guess.
and we're asking you, was that actually something that Trump signed off on? Was it a law that he actually passed and endorsed? And either you have a direct answer for that question or not. You just can't say this is Trump's fault because it happened during his tenure. That's not acceptable because there is
Trump was
precedent.
supportive of red flag laws. That is absolutely true. He's
Did he
supportive of
pass
red
any?
flag laws. And
Did he pass
when
any,
people
Jovi?
approached him, well, when
Did
people are
he
getting their
pass
guns
any?
confiscated all over the country because of this
It's a yes or no
administration
question.
and the people he's yes, he passed it. If people are getting their
Okay,
guns
which one?
confiscated all over the country, what do you
Which
mean
No,
which
red
one?
flag
that's not
laws did
true.
he pass?
And okay, so let me
There
ask
are
a
people.
more basic question. Which states were your friends arrested in for statements they made online that got their guns taken away?
New York,
Oh,
California.
big fucking surprise. Okay,
Wait,
another
wait, wait,
huge
wait. Hold
surprise.
on. North
Exactly
Carolina,
where we
North
have these
Carolina,
strictest, where we have these
North
strictest
Carolina,
gun
North
laws
Carolina. Really?
in the nation.
North Carolina, North Carolina.
Absolute.
Really?
North Carolina is turning
Georgia,
blue, but New
Georgia.
York,
Just stop. Oh my God! Can you guys stop
you had
talking this way?
someone
Just
arrested.
speak. Look,
You
speak
had
with your
some,
own ideas. Stop
people
saying
that
there's
were arrested for
blue.
gun
Stop saying
laws,
there's
Okay.
deep
You want to hear
and
an
sea.
own
Why
idea?
can't? Here we go.
Go on,
Let me hear
mandatory,
something.
please.
Okay. The red flag laws were passed between Clinton and Obama. And I remember because Brandon Robb was arrested under those laws for holding a single shot shotgun. So, okay, whatever. Donnie didn't pass these laws. They were already on the books. What's he going to do? Suddenly say, nope, I'm not going to enforce that law because I don't like it? That would be the sign of a tyrant. somebody who can pass whatever or enforce whatever
Which,
laws he
which,
wants
to
just
be fair,
because
we
they're
need a
there.
tyrant because look what's going on right now. We need a
Fuck no, we
tyrant.
don't
We
need
need
a
a man to
goddamn
just
tyrant.
like.
We don't need a fucking tyrant. Hell no.
And
What do
you're
we
talking
need?
No,
about
We
we
need a
don't need a
guy who's.
tyrant.
You see,
A
and
tyrant
my
We
with
need
problem
lots
is
of
someone
like
to
money.
tell him,
the
I
say,
can
last
hey,
speak
breath
how
for
he took,
about
he said he
California.
not
I
wasn't
can't
have.
speak for all
constitutional.
the other. California has the strictest gun laws in the almost in the entire nation. And what goes on here in this state
You want to know?
alone with getting guns
well,
or
you can call me
ammunition or anything
frustrating.
else?
All right, so
You know the
real quick,
solution to all
real
of this. You
quick.
know what's the
Hang on.
solution
No, no,
to
no,
this?
no, no. Hang
Yeah.
on red flag laws. Hang on. So looked into them real quick. Actually, not real quick. I've been following this shit for a while. When it comes to red flag laws, they are not implemented federally. They are not sanctioned federally. It is approved or disapproved on a state to state basis. As it stands right now,
Exactly.
there are more states that have said nothing about it than there are states that are going against it. There's one state that goes completely against red flag laws, and that's Oklahoma. Beyond that, you've got Arizona, Colorado, California, Nevada, Oregon, Washington, Indiana. I don't know what the fuck that is next to Indiana, under Michigan, West Ohio. What the fuck is that? Oh no, Illinois,
Yeah.
West Ohio.
Virginia, Florida, New York, a couple other shitholes over there. But the going trend for for what is to happen for a red flag law to be passed is the state has to lean very far left. It is not a Trump going red flag laws are awesome, guys. Come on, sign the shit out of this bitch. It is not Obama gives the go ahead. It is not Clinton gives the go ahead. It is on a state to state basis. They're the
You
ones that are
mentioned
implementing.
the red states, though.
I stand corrected.
You
Now, when it comes to, hang
okay?
on, when
Okay,
it
so you saying Obama and Clinton, right? You say Obama and Clinton. Yeah.
they cannot give the go ahead for it. They cannot say no. Since it's being implemented on a state to state basis, this is not a federal thing.
State to state level. Yes.
Give you an example when it comes to legalizing marijuana. I remember when
Yeah, but
California legalized marijuana on a state level. What happened? The Obama administration was having law enforcement do
which
raids
I'm
on
against, by the
dispensaries
way. Yeah.
did raids on dispensaries in California. And me personally, I do not partake of the green leafy lettuces and shit, but I don't really care. I'm not going to do it. If you're going to do it, that's fine. You get all fucked up on that juice. I need to keep my shit around me wired at all times.
Nice.
Yep.
And that's the thing about individual freedom. It's not really nationalism, and it's
And we're
always
at
I
the
don't
point
care as
now,
long as they're not messing with me.
we're at the point now, no, not now, for years now, I would say, with Dwight D. Eisenhower and onwards, other than JFK, pretty sure he got assassinated because of his work with what he was trying to do with special forces. But every president from Dwight D. Eisenhower to now has been electing the less stinky pile of shit. They're all going to implement their own rules. They're all going to
It's
implement
true.
their own agendas. Understood. But what is the least harmful agenda? That's all we're getting the freedom to choose is how less beaten are we going to be? We're all just a bunch of battered wives in this country at this point. We don't know what freedom is anymore. And then if you're a history buff and you look past at what we had, it's like getting punched in the fucking nuts every damn day. And all you can do is tell people, hey, this is what life used to be like. You could go out on your back porch and shoot a deer, or you could gather in the damn square and run your militia meeting, which not
If
necessarily was a thing. It was usually like a
when
bar run.
Was
when I went to DC, I just said this, and people agreed. If our founding fathers saw the way we were today, they would line us against a wall and shoot us because we're traitors to our nation, just by
Yep.
being so
No.
complacent with tyranny. There's
No.
tyranny in America. There is
They
tyranny in
would
America.
burn down the the Congress. That's certainly true. They might string up SCOTUS from a long pole. I don't think they would be all too antagonistic toward the general populace. They
Even
would be
during the
angry that we're
revolution,
not angry, but that
even
would be
during
about it.
even during the revolution, not 100% of the population agreed to separating from the British colonies. A majority of people were actually neutral or
Only a
preached
Three
to
third.
one
percent,
side or
yeah,
the other.
three
They would
percent,
not,
I believe,
founding
were
fathers would not, the
fighting.
founding fathers would not have fucked with the individual citizen. They would leave it as a decision. You pick your side, and whoever wins, hope you didn't pick the wrong one. And that's the part that matters. If you want freedom, you have to make your side, and then after that, train your side into how to win a particular way.
So do you think either party's for freedom, or it's just to divide Americans more and distract us from those who are in power?
Okay, I speak in a lot of analogies. I understand that. But what I'm saying is neither party, left, right, or center, at this point in time, will ever give us more freedom. They will never make it for us. They will never make life easier for us to live. At this point in time, we do not have a group of people that remember what our founding principles were. They just have the ideas that they want to run with. And besides,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not too
don't think.
against selling guns to
Okay,
other countries.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any
You
of
don't think
us
what?
look at Donald Trump and see a perfect solution. I
No,
think we
No
just see
perfect
him as the
solution.
catalyst for something that might be better in the future.
I think he's
Uh,
the instigator in chief for sure, but
Pretty
to a
much.
to a good reason, for a good reason.
Well, he did. What's great about him is he did start the conversation. He brought a lot of nationalists together, and like I said in the beginning, many saw him as the pro-white president. Many saw him as, you know, great white hope. Many did see him this way.
I'm
I
sorry.
I
have
am
to disagree
too.
with that one too.
I
Not a great
disagree with
white
that
hope.
as well. I disagree with that as well. I mean, there was a
David
I do
Duke
too.
minority.
endorsed him.
Hmm.
The Klan wanted
David
him. All these guys on the
David Duke is a
alt-right were
psyop, just
supportive
like
of
Richard
him.
Spencer.
Oh,
But
Who,
That's
who
David
Great.
Duke
cares
David
and
what
him
Duke
were in the
David
was
Duke
same.
says?
was like
That's
Who
a
God.
cares what
David
adorable.
Duke
David
was in
Duke
the same
says?
party as him. They were both in the same
Okay,
party together. Did you know that?
Oh, so what? They
that's
were at
Who
the
great.
same
cares?
party.
What
So
about it?
Like seriously.
they
But there
were in the
and
same
Hillary
party,
Clinton
right?
kissed him. So and Clinton made out with him. So
No,
what does that
no,
say?
that was
I mean that does
that was
That was
Robert Byrd,
Robert Byrd.
a
who
different
it doesn't
Klansman, but still.
okay.
A
But
Oh,
Klansman's
it's
a Klansman's a
a,
Klansman.
a Klansman
And
is a
and you know
Klansman.
what's funny is
it's a clan.
the but what's interesting is that he did endorse him, right? He did endorse him, and then Trump wanted to make it seem like, I don't know who's this David Duke guy, you know? But in reality, they were in the same party together, and they knew each other, right? Now,
Okay, I go
I'm
up to
not
the
gonna say
VA.
Trump's a
Okay.
I go
Klansman
up.
or anything like that,
Slow
you
your
know?
roll. Slow your roll. Hang on. This is guilt by
Yeah.
association. So since I go up to the VA and I talk to a lot of World War II vets that happen to have fought on the German side of World War II, or the fact that my great great grandfather was a Nazi, does that automatically classify me as a Nazi?
Apparently.
Well,
No,
I don't use the word Nazi because it's derogatory to its meaning. So if you're saying that your great grandfather was a National Socialist, then he was more of a nationalist than anyone today in America.
While I do agree with that, I'm talking about the bad part of their ideology. I'm talking about all the anti-Semitism and you know what the fuck I'm talking about, dude. Don't jack me around like
But our
that.
founding
But
fathers were anti-Semitic, right? Our founding
our
fathers had
founding
choice
fathers
a
were
few
not
words.
anti-Semitic. Our founding fathers were not anti-Semitic because they based this
They didn't
country
care.
on
Mhm.
Judeo-Christian ideas. You will not have an
That is
America without.
false. The first
That
what
is
what
not
was
false
built in
at all.
America? A church or a synagogue first? When was the first synagogue in America built? Because I know the first
Listen,
church was built when they first came here, right? They didn't
that's
build no
not what I'm saying.
synagogues. There
That's
was no
not what I'm
synagogue being
saying.
built until when?
What I'm telling you is you cannot have Christian ideas without Judaism. This is where our ideas come from. This is why there is a New Testament and an Old Testament. To break it down even further, the Old Testament is the Torah. It is the Jewish version. It is the original version of our Bible. That's what Jews read.
The first 5
You,
books are the Torah, but yeah,
but you cannot have a foundation written on bullshit unless it's Islam. But anyways,
but you
Can I ask
saying
a
that
simple question?
Yep.
you just
But
did.
no, this idea that Donald Trump was the great white hope and most people voted for him on that merit is absolute shit. Most Americans didn't vote for Trump because of
It
white
is.
nationalism.
It is.
No.
I mean,
Most Americans
Not at
are
all.
white, and most Americans
Go
did
ask
vote
them.
for.
Most Americans are
Um,
white. Did you just say that?
good ideas
Absolutely, the
transcend
majority of
race.
America.
Yeah.
The majority of America is white, and his base was predominantly white. His base consisted of Christian white males, and actually, women voted for him more than what's it called? Than they voted for what's that witch's name again? I almost forgot her name. Good. So, anyways, they
How
voted
do you
for him
explain
more,
this
right?
election then? How do you explain this election
Oh,
then
this
that
this
most of
election,
the
he
minority
lost
votes
his
went
base.
to? No,
Yeah,
well,
he lost his
I'll give you
base
that one. He lost
because
his base,
it,
but at the same time,
yeah,
he did gain in the minority polls. A
eight
lot of
million votes.
minorities
Yeah,
did vote for him. Then how
he
is he
gained
the
eight
great white
million
state?
votes. No, because he voted. They voted for him in the beginning, right? Because of that, and most of his base was Christian white males. That was his base, right? And then females actually voted for him as well. But I mean, it depends. I mean, if these are Christian white males voting and they have
More
wives, I'm pretty sure they also voted.
white and more women voted for President Trump than probably any other president as well. And not because
But
we're
More
white.
white.
you're also not
Well,
answering the question: why did he pick
Well, it's
up in the minority
because this
polls
is the first
if
time.
he's the
Yeah.
great white savior? Good ideas
No.
transcend race.
2016,
Period.
2016,
I'm
2016,
talking
he
about
was seen as the
now.
Great White Hope. Yeah, exactly. 2016, he was seen as the Great White Hope. But when he ignored
By
his
a
base and
minority.
kept
No, he
He
pandering,
wasn't seen as the great white hope
when
for the
he
majority of
He
Americans.
was seen as the great American hope.
do
He
you know
was
how
seen
many
as the great
Hispanics?
American
Do you
hope,
know how
not
many
the great white
Hispanics?
hope.
Do you know how many Hispanics are pro-white or are more,
Okay,
preferable
hang on,
to
hang on.
white?
what?
I actually can. No. Hang on. Jovi is not wrong here. I live in Texas, and I know, I personally know Hispanics who would rather worship Odin. They would rather worship Odin than pray
Really?
to
Than
the
Christ,
Virgin Mary.
than Jesus. Yeah.
I'm not lying to you, but
Okay.
Jovi
Good one.
does have that one point. But still, to the vast majority of Americans, overall, Donald Trump was still not the great white hope. He was not the white
No.
nationalist
He
president.
wasn't. He wasn't the Great White Hope, but he was seen as the Great White Hope. I'm trying to tell
No,
you guys that
No, he was seen as the
there's a
great
lot.
American hope.
Yeah.
He was seen as the
Why do
great
you guys get
American hope,
offended whenever I
not the
say Great
great
White
white
Hope? What's
hope.
wrong with white? What's wrong with being the Great White
We're
Hope? Is
laughing at
America
you
not
because
predominantly white?
There's
Is America
it's
not
well, no,
predominantly
it's not
white?
about
no, because we
it's
didn't
not
care.
a
the
correct
statement of white.
statement.
It
Like,
It's
is
not
It
when
has
is.
you just
nothing
don't
to
had
get
We're
a
me
do
laughing
wrong.
black
at you,
with
man in
bro.
office
white.
for 8
It
years.
has to do with being an incorrect. It's an incorrect, inaccurate statement, is what it
Now,
is.
It became an
one of
inaccurate
my great
statement
friends, Jovi,
after
is a gal named Yiz the Eunuch, and I love her videos because she takes on the anti-white narrative all the time.
Oh.
This is not about whether or not we think white is good or bad. It's about the fact that you're wrong. It's about the fact that Donald Trump was not elected
Right.
as a white nationalist president. Point blank. Now, do I think that there is anti-white in the world today? Absolutely. Does it need to be fought against? Absolutely. Does that mean that Donald Trump was the white nationalist president? Fuck no. especially when we're talking about the majority of Americans who voted
There's
for it.
anti-white.
So,
Okay, well, anti-white, I like to call it Blancophobia. Blancophobia is what we saw in the Trump administration for 2020, for 2020. We saw that they were pushing whites aside. There's no pro-white groups. There's nothing to do with white. It's all about, let me focus on the black unemployment, the Hispanic unemployment, Asian unemployment. If there was a species that came from another planet that came to America, he would discuss their unemployment before he would discuss whites.
You're right, because he discussed
Oh my gosh,
American.
because there's
Wow.
Oh,
American.
so America
Exactly.
is
It's
majority
not about.
white
It's
then.
not.
Thank you.
What?
And
Goodness,
you're selectively
That's not what
picking
they
that
out
is
said.
what you
so.
want to hear.
That's.
Jovi, that was
Oh
retarded.
Lord.
Why?
I have ear aids now.
Are you
What?
The
high?
majority of America,
Going fucking die.
the majority of them. No, I don't do drugs and I don't drink. But the
Okay.
majority of
So,
America is white, and when you say that he doesn't say anything
No,
about
it's
white
not.
per se, it's. Are you comfortable with a country that was once 90% white being 50% white? Are you comfortable with that?
if that's what
I don't care
Because it
what
seems like
that's
color
you're
it
okay
saying,
with.
then
is.
yeah, that's what happens.
Well, my
So
family's been here
you're
since the
you're for
1600s.
Marxism
So
then.
my family.
What?
Okay then.
No,
I'm
You
I'm
back.
not
have
for Marxism.
okay. You're
My God,
okay. So
how are
you're
you
a
coming up with these
you're a
ideas?
you're a no, because cultural Marxism removes us away from our identity and removes us away from
Oh,
nationalism. And that's what you're doing when you're saying that you
Oh
can be
no,
any
no,
color.
no.
You do
Oh my
understand that America
goodness.
was founded by white Christians and white deists. It wasn't found by Mexicans or
They
it
were
wasn't found by.
European. They were European
Okay,
what
when
the
so
they
hell?
we'll
came
What'd
just
you
call
do
them
over.
with
European.
it?
But
Yeah,
if
that's fine.
what the
It's because this
see,
country should
this is the
remain.
division that has been indoctrinated by people like through the systems or whatever it is, that it has to be a particular color instead of looking at, yes, Europeans came over here. Our Trump is an American. He's reaching for America. It doesn't have to do, it's supposed to be transcending, which I believe that it had, transcending the color. This division through color, if it's black or white or red or Chinese or whatever it is, that's ridiculous. And all the things that you are saying are really not accurate.
Well, and Jovi,
It's like
Really?
stuff that you're
Because
throwing
look
in.
at
So
London.
now I'm a
London's the
Marxist.
most
Now I'm a
diverse.
Marxist because
Do you know what
London's
cultural
a fucking
Marxism
shithole.
consists of? It consists of a
Oh
well,
loss
my
of
no, 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 no,
identity, a
no.
loss
God.
of nationalism, empowering women. Did you know that Marxism is empowering women? It's telling women that they should have a voice over men, and that's what you're kind of doing right
Oh,
now because you're in a group of what six of us
no,
here, and you're the only female.
She has my
But
blessing.
when you
She has a patriarchal
first
pardon
got in here,
from
you
myself to speak over you,
you
Jovi.
were cutting me off. You were being.
yeah, he does.
She has a patriarchal pardon
oh
from
my
myself
goodness.
to interrupt. But in any
Well,
case,
she does
no.
have more of a
What we're
say.
talking.
She has more of a say in America than I do. If she has family here, wait, no, don't cut me off now, because she's a daughter. She's a or
What the
Mayflower
hell? Um,
bloodline.
What's going on?
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on. I think he cut out. And
Hmm.
no,
It
I
might
should
be a
say
latency issue. I think he actually
she,
lives somewhere further away, a
I'm just
lot further
listening to you
away
guys.
from us.
okay. Anyways, but no, that cultural Marxism isn't just about the loss of cultural identity. What it is it's ultimately a breakdown of law and order, and that is the first and foremost thing that needs to be fought
Correct.
against. Because the fact is,
Correct.
the when we look at what's happening to us today, we have to look into the past and realize how did this all come about. And the example that I recall the most about this is ancient Rome. And the question I like to ask is, who were the pre-Romans? And the answer to that is there's no such thing as a pre-Roman. The pre-Romans were a combination of Greek Etruscans and local Ital tribes. The reason that they became Roman were because these two groups of people came together and established the virtues of their society. They said, this is what it means to be one of us, regardless of which group you come from. And they enforced those virtues so rigorously, uh, so ruthlessly that it created a new
Contribution,
race. Yeah,
contribution, and
oh,
reciprocity.
yes,
That's what helped them prosper. That's not what we have
correct.
today. When Mexicans come into America and take jobs
Hold on,
away from Americans, that's
I'm
not
not done.
reciprocity. When
I'm not done. When
okay,
the
I
point
apologize.
is, the point is, and I understand where you're going with this, and we're sort of on the same page as this. When a culture is healthy and robust and not being subverted, it will naturally form and unify the genomes. It will create a new race. I don't know what that's going to look like in 50 years. I don't know if I would call it white, especially when, we kind of imported a slave labor population that kind of messed things over. That's our burden to bear in perpetuity. That's something we have to deal with. But when it comes to the enforcement of law and order, that is our main tool to make sure that that process happens, semi peacefully, as long as we understand what our virtues are and what we're willing to kill for, so that we establish what that genome will look like in the future. Then we can have something that resembles, something that's more nationalistic and wholesome. Until then, we're kind of up shit creek. But the point is, we have to embrace that Roman ethic, and the true goal, the
Well,
true catalyst of
yeah.
cultural Marxism is not essentially racial. It's the breakdown of law and order so that you can wedge in communism. It's the breakdown of societal norms. Now, if you want to attribute those societal norms to a particular race or group of people, fine, good on you. I'm not going to do that because my fellow men have agency. They have choices. And they can either choose to get with the program or they can choose to not get with the program. I have no problem calling weakness. I have no problem using law and order as that sifting tool. But it's still law and order. It's not going to be racially based. And at the end of and at the end of this project, it still won't be racially based. So we're really talking ourselves in circles because the reality is we have a multicultural grouping, whether or not cultural Marxism, was going to be a factor or not. That refining process still needs to take place.
Which it is. Which it is. Yeah.
No, it's
It's
not.
the
Cultural
idea of being
Marxism
replaced
is
legally.
oh my no. Ugh.
What?
Cultural
Yes,
Marxism.
you being replaced legally. It's like when Trump says, I want them legal. And guess what? It doesn't matter if they're legal because that girl right there who said her father's or her family's been here since the 1600s, she does not have a say over someone who just signed their name on a dotted line and called themselves an American. How do you feel about paper nationalism? That's exactly what that is. And if you're comfortable with that,
Okay.
then you lose your identity as an American because you're
So,
just saying anybody could
Oh,
be an
hang on,
essentially,
American.
you're
hang on, hang
not
on.
And it's
white,
also the reason
you're
why I
not
don't.
Hang
American.
on.
Yeah?
Now we're jumping into another issue of immigration.
If you no 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 because like you said, blacks were sent here through slave labor, right? And by the way, those were the ones that were funding those ships were not whites, but you can look that up. I
Okay.
think through
Okay.
Farrakhan said it. Farrakhan wrote a book about it. Yeah,
Because
you
he's such
don't
a
have to listen
trustworthy
to
source.
Farrakhan, but I'm just letting you know you guys should really expand your horizon and not just focus on people that speak. He wrote a book about, who funded the slave ships, and they weren't white. Now, what's it called? What was I saying? Yeah, so they came here, right, 400 or 500 years ago. They have stake in this country. right? The generational African Americans, not these people that come straight from Africa and I am an American. No, you're not an American. It doesn't matter how many times you sign your name. Same thing with the West Indians. It doesn't matter. It's the generational African Americans that have stake in America. It's the generational whites, and also because the founding fathers did make this a nation for whites. I don't know if you know about that, but the founding fathers were definitely you can't really be a white nationalist when the country's 90% white, your own people, right? Even Abraham Lincoln thought that Africans should live in Africa, which is why they tried to build Liberia with the same constitution as America, but we saw that that didn't help out.
They gave them the
So
option.
it's
The
like these
idea,
ideas
Given
have
the
been a
option,
part
yeah.
of.
Yeah,
That's why
that was actually
reparations are
I
discussed.
joke.
mean,
Yeah, that was
Lincoln
discussed between Lincoln
Lincoln
and Frederick Douglass.
definitely wanted them. Yeah,
Oh my
Lincoln
gosh.
definitely wanted
So
them to live in
okay,
Africa.
so why did he change his mind?
And he even said it. Lincoln even said, if I could have won the war without freeing the slaves, I would have done it. Lincoln said that
Yeah, but his
himself.
Avoid.
actions proved otherwise.
No, no,
I
no,
mean,
no, no, no. He said if I could avoid war by freeing
It-
all of the slaves, I would do that. If I could avoid the war by freeing none of the slaves, I would do that. If I could avoid the war by freeing some of the slaves and leaving others, I would also do that. That was a letter to Horace Greeley.
yep, that it was.
I,
Oh,
I don't think he said avoid war. I think he said if I could have won the war without freeing a
No, no,
single
no.
slave, then
Avoid
he would have
no.
war.
done it.
Avoid war. It
And
was
there's just
avoid
so
war.
many different examples of, or if you're sure about that, then that's fine. I mean, I will read it again.
Yep,
But it's like our
please.
founding fathers had these ideas. When we try to push these ideas that, like, because you sign your name on the dotted line, you're an American. There were people
okay,
that came from other countries that contributed
hang on.
that were,
Jovi. You say that the founding fathers wanted it to be a white
yeah,
nation. Okay. Why on earth then would George Washington free his slaves upon his deathbed? Like why? If that was their intention,
actually
if that was
George
their goal,
Washington, right?
uh-huh.
Okay, George Washington on his deathbed, right, told his wife, whatever you do not freeze. And I remember somebody telling me this. They were like, George Washington's wife was the greatest woman in history. And he told me that. And I was like,
What?
she disrespected her husband, didn't respect his wishes. How is she the greatest wife in history? She freed the slaves after he had passed away. He
Wasn't
said,
that
whatever you
written
do, do
in
not
his
free my
Stop,
will?
slaves. That's what he said.
stop,
Now, I
stop,
believe it.
stop. Hang on. Despite having been an active slaveholder for 56 years, George Washington struggled with the institution of slavery and spoke frequently to his desire to end the practice. On that note, when America was being founded, when the documents were being written up, they constantly had to reconvene the Continental Congress in order to hash out the whole slavery issue. The founding fathers wanted the slaves to be free, but on a state to state level, because the authorities were to be given to the states as to regulations and whatnot regarding that, they weren't able to pull that off. But back to the document, at the end of his life, Washington made the decision to free all his slaves, and in his 1799 will, and he's the only founding father that actually did that. But the way the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were written up was to lay the groundwork for the eventual freeing of the slaves. It took the American Civil War kicking off and the argument over abolition of slavery to bring about their freedom, to bring about emancipation. It's not that Lincoln didn't
He
want to or wanted to, it's that
he
he
could have said
had
that.
to.
He could have said that. Yeah,
Okay.
Civil War
exactly.
did
He
not
had to.
end
So he had to
slavery.
put that on his will. But he told his wife when he passed away. Yeah, yeah, and the Civil War wasn't even about slavery. Like
Okay,
they
hang on,
they
hang
didn't
on.
want
Jovi,
Jovi,
slavery
Jovi.
on both
Let, let,
sides
let,
of
let me
anything.
let me make something
They saw
abundantly
slavery
clear.
as bad for the
Dude,
economy, and they saw slavery as bad for the economy, and they even said that because the Industrial Revolution was coming forth, that it wouldn't even compare to what was slave labor. And
okay,
to be honest,
Jovi.
what, five,
In
maybe
terms
less than
of
5%
sources,
of.
in terms of sources, Jovi, I am not going to take a
Mhm.
hearsay account of George Washington's deathbed over his fucking will.
But that's
Yeah,
That
his
is
I
but that's
not
his
that.
will.
I just
Yes,
read
it
that
was
That's
off
his
written
his
in
will,
will.
his
right?
will,
That he
in his
wrote
last
up.
will and testament.
Yeah, it
Yes.
was written in his will. But
Yes.
he
I just
told
read
his
it.
wife on his
No.
deathbed, not writing in
No.
a will. He told
No.
his wife on his
Jovi,
okay,
deathbed,
just
well,
whatever you
no.
do not
No.
free more slaves.
No.
That's what he said.
he
I'm
also said on his deathbed
And
that he was that he kidnapped the Lindbergh baby.
That
how did he?
happened a couple years down the road, but yeah,
Oh my gosh.
I think we're
Oh.
Well,
living
listen,
in Moore's realm
listen,
right now.
listen. This has nothing to do with hating on anyone or any ideas, really. It's to understand where these ideas stem from. This
I don't
is
think
George
you even
Washington,
understand
Benjamin
where
Franklin,
most of these
Thomas
ideas
Jefferson.
stem from. I don't think you
Well,
understand what the hell you have read. I think it's been way too long and you need a refresher. And what you need to do is detach your personal opinion from what you're actually reading. Because
All right.
what you're reading is not meshing with what actually happened, sir.
All right.
That's
Give me
no,
some
one
it,
bat
second.
shit.
it,
Jovi, it's been
it
fun. I'm gonna say goodnight, and I'll end this in just a couple more seconds. All right, that was exciting, ladies and gentlemen.
That-
I'm glad that I had it, but I'm still at work. I'm still in the office, and I need to clock out in about an hour and a half. So I need to wrap this up. Um, thank you, gentlemen, for all coming on, and we need to do this again. I will have Jovi back. I will have Jovi back. Um, but gentlemen, it's been amazing. That was truly phenomenal. It made all my wishes come true.
Yeah, it gave me
Any
Mm.
oh,
any last thoughts on this last night's stream?
bizarre.
That was a very interesting conversation.
I wish we got more into militias though.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, it's I question his sources. I don't doubt his passion. But that was Jovi, and I will definitely be having him back on for a one-on-one discussion. And yes,
okay.
and the next time I'll hopefully get Southern Daily News on. Sorry, it's just they only let 6 people on, so I couldn't actually pull you on if I wanted to.
Oh,
Thank you, Anne Marie. I appreciate the happy birthday. It's been a nice stream, guys. And again, I'm Italian. I live for debate. This was a wonderful night. Thank you all. Stay carnal and God bless everybody.